Hello, YouTube. How y'all doing today? Happy Hump Day Wednesday. Yes, happy Hump Day Wednesday. How you doing? How you doing? I hope you're having a marvelous day, a fantastic day. Yes. Well, we got a lot to cover, y'all, because Melania Trump is in the hot water right now. She thought that she could bully Wolf because she's married to a bully, but it didn't work in Melania Trump's favor. Not at all. Melania Trump is being sued by Wolf. Yes, the guy that was an autobiographer for Epstein, and I heard Trump as well, alleged. But anyway, Melania Trump is not working in your favor. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba, I'm loving it. I'm loving it, y'all. Because, Melania Trump thought, okay, my husband is the biggest bully in this country. I can do and say whatever I want to. Girl, well, right now you're being sued by Wolf, Melania Trump. Hello, King LaSwan. Hello, King Allen. As you all come in, please hit that like button for me. Hit that like button with your beautiful hands. Take your finger and hit the like. Hit the like for me, okay? But anyway, yes, like I stated, Melania Trump is being sued. Yes. She got sued in New York over the Epstein claims. Yes, God. And it's going to be something beautiful. Because I had something else I was going to discuss first, but we're going to go straight into the Epstein files, Melania Trump before that, okay? And because of that, there's discovery. So Donald Trump is dragged into it too. There has to be discovery. So they're going to have to prove how they really met. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba, I'm loving it. Yes. We're going to delve into some things that the Republicans are doing because some of their gerrymandering is not working in their favor, such as Indiana. The gerrymandering that they try to pull in certain states, it is not working in the MAGA Republicans' favor. And when I tell you, I thank you, Jesus, for that. They're trying to make it hard for Black voters. And we can't have that. So God is working it out for us. I told y'all, God is going to work it out for us. And we're going to talk about something that is good trouble. Government Newsom sends emergency food bank funds at Trump's government shutdown that halts SNAP benefits. Government Newsom is sending food to the food banks. Epstein survivor, her book has come out. And she names an Israeli prime minister. Yes. And we're going to talk about the things that Trump has not done and the things Trump has done. He hasn't done much good. He hasn't done any good for this country. So we'll talk about that too. Hello, everybody. As you're coming in, I am Queen Lillie. Welcome to my live. Please hit that like button as you are entering my castle. If you'd like to donate to my channel, you can send me super chats and super stickers. In my description is my Venmo and my PayPal link. You're welcome to donate that way too as well. So we're going to be getting started in just a moment. Virginia Jeffries, her book is out and is making moves. She did two different versions, overseas version and the American version. Yes. So we're also listening to CNN. They interviewed the person that actually publishing company that put the book out for her because she's no longer here on God's beautiful green earth. So somebody had to put the book out for her. Hello, King Allen. How you doing, baby? So we're gonna go ahead and get started. We're gonna start first with Melania Trump being sued by Wolf. Yes.
Just in, journalist and author Michael Wolff has just filed a lawsuit against Melania Trump in New York Supreme Court. In a 17-page complaint, Wolff says that Melania Trump, pictured here, through her lawyers, threatened to sue him for over $1 billion unless he retracted comments linking her and her relationship with Donald Trump to Jeffrey Epstein. Wolff calls the threat a classic slap, a strategic lawsuit against public participation meant to intimidate journalists and silence free speech about matters of public concern. The filing seeks a declaratory judgment clearing his reporting, plus damages under New York's anti-slap law, which punishes baseless legal threats designed to chill the free press. Wolff's complaint also says that he plans to use subpoena power to pursue evidence about Epstein's network, including potential testimony from Donald Trump himself. In short, Michael Wolff is suing to protect his First Amendment rights, and he's turning Melania's Trump legal threat back on her. Now, get ready for discovery, folks. We're about to interview Michael Wolff about this bombshell lawsuit.
And we're going to watch
YouTube and the Midas Touch podcast soon to hear it. And remember to repost this video to spread the word. Big news just in, journalist and author Michael Wolff.
Michael Wolff, he ain't scared. There will be a GoFundMe put out to help because he going to have those attorney fees. He doesn't have Donald Trump and Melania Trump's money, but he will be getting help from other attorneys as well. We're going to listen to another video, and they're going to be interviewing him in just a moment. Allen said that Trump using the California National Guard to distribute food assistance. No, that's Governor Newsom is using the National Guard to distribute food assistance. Yes, Governor Newsom is doing it, not Donald Trump, not that monster, not today. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to watch. It says Melania Trump gets sued in New York over Epstein claims. And this is by who? Everything I show you is fair use, great for educational purposes, great for research, great for entertainment purposes. And I always throw a dab of comedy in there. You know I will. Okay. All right. All right. All right. So what are we doing? We are doing research, everybody. Yes, research. So we're going to get into this and we're going to watch this interview by Midas Touch Network, fair use. Wait one moment. Wait one moment, beautiful kings and queens. Wait a moment.
Was just sued in the Supreme Court of the state of New York by Michael Wolff, renowned author who has reported on Donald Trump before. As Trump's former biographer. He was spoken to by Jeffrey Epstein about potentially being Epstein's biographer, and had spent hours and hours speaking with Epstein. And Michael Wolff has published works about Donald Trump that I'm sure you've all read and know about. We've had Michael Wolff on our network before, and Michael Wolff has reported, and he's spoken to reporters about what's been going on behind the scenes as Donald Trump is covering up the Epstein files, which we all know is taking place right now in plain view. And it's one of the reasons that our freaking government is shut down right now as they're trying to stop Adelita Grijalva, who would be the 218 signatures, she's the Democratic Congresswoman-elect from Arizona, 7th Congressional District, from signing the discharge petition to release the Epstein files. So here's what went down. Melania Trump sent a threatening demand letter to Michael Wolff, where she misrepresented a bunch of statements that Michael Wolff had previously made, both on Instagram, as well as statements that the Daily Beast then put into articles. Again, it was kind of half statements. It didn't fully give the full context of what Wolff was saying, but a demand letter was sent to Michael Wolff. The letter was sent on October 15, 2025. We have a copy of the letter here. It says, "Dear Mr. Wolff, this law firm represents this litigation counsel for the First Lady of the United States of America, Melania Trump, and after Mrs. Trump." And then it goes on to say that we believe you've engaged in defamations. And it goes into, here's the article's defamatory statements. And they list in the article, and they go, you said Melania Trump is very involved in the Epstein scandal. You've said First Lady Melania could be the missing link in Trump's ties to convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. I'm reading from the letter right now that this guy Alejandro Brito sent to Wolff. See, Melania was very involved in Epstein's social circle and noted that this is how she met Trump. D, she introduced by a model agency, both of whom Trump and Epstein are involved with. She was introduced to Trump that way. Epstein knew her well. Then it goes on to cite other Instagram posts where it says that you said, Wolff, that Epstein told you that Trump and Melania got together for the first time on Epstein's airplane, and that Melania met Trump through the same modeling circles through which Epstein and Trump procured dates. You said, Wolff, this sham marriage, trophy marriage, hardly any marriage at all is part of the scam. Then it makes a very specific demand. It says you need to apologize, you need to issue a retraction, you need to do this all in public. And it says, please govern yourself accordingly, Wolff. So on the deadline that was given for, I guess,
I'm going to pause at a moment, y'all. How in the Jimmy crack corn can Melania Trump and Donald Trump tell someone they need to apologize? Donald Trump doesn't apologize for anything that he has done since he hit the scene the first term, nor has he apologized for anything. He hasn't apologized to President Obama about the birthday rights and all that craziness that he started up. He hasn't apologized for what he's doing to black and brown people. He's sicking ICE on black and brown people. ICE is picking up black people. Apologize, Donald Trump. These people were here before you were here. Black people that are here, their family was slaves before you were here. Your raggedy loved ones was here. Your family are immigrants, Donald Trump. From your wife to your dad and your grandparents, etc. We're immigrants. Melania parents are immigrants. Apologize to America, Donald Trump. You're going to ask Wolf to give y'all an apology for your wife being a ho, ho, ho and a Merry Christmas? Get out of here. Get out of our country.
Accordingly, Michael Wolff sued Melania in New York Supreme Court, which is their trial court. We have the lawsuit right here, verified complaint for declaratory judgment and damages under New York's anti-SLAPP statute, strategic lawsuit against free speech, basically, against public policy, where Michael Wolff saying, I'm reporting on the facts that I know. I'm an author who has a First Amendment right. And then Michael Wolff goes through each of the allegations that are being made. It says, first off, you're providing incomplete or kind of erroneous context to what I actually said. And then there's opinion protections. One of the protections is truth and being truthful about it. And Wolff sued Melania Trump for this declaratory relief action under anti-SLAPP law in New York. And it basically says, look, by you, Alejandro Brito, on behalf of Melania Trump, sending these demand letters and making these threats to chill my speech, I've now had to hire an attorney. I'm incurring costs. This is a First Amendment right that I have to report on these facts. So I want a declaratory relief action. I want the court here in New York to say that what I'm doing is protected under New York's anti-SLAPP statute, which provides strong First Amendment protections to reporters and to journalists and to authors. I want attorney's fees as a result of what's happened, and I want discovery. And a major part of this lawsuit filed by Michael Wolff says, by her threat letter and this responsive declaratory and related anti-SLAPP action, Mrs. Trump has given Wolff subpoena power, which he intends to exercise fully and expeditiously. Since the statements at issue pertain to matters that largely occurred here in New York City, this action will call for and permit subpoenas to numerous witnesses, most of them in New York. Subpoenas will go to those who frequented or who were in part of Epstein's circle, including Mr. Trump. I want to bring in right now Michael Wolff, the plaintiff in this case, who just filed this lawsuit against Melania Trump. Ben, how are you? Nice to see you. Great to see you. And I think there's so many people who have seen Melania going around with these litigation threat letters. She threatened Hunter Biden and said, I'm going to sue you, but then never ended up actually suing Hunter Biden. But you've taken the extraordinary action of saying, I'm standing up for my reporting. I'm standing up for the First Amendment, and I'm suing you. So talk to us about that.
Well, I think very simply, someone had to do it. I probably would have preferred that it not be me, but, come the moment, here it is. And what they've done is obvious, and it's disgraceful, and what they keep doing. And everybody throughout the media business, there's a chill. And a chill is probably the kind words. I don't think, I just sued the First Lady of the United States, a kind of, man bites dog lawsuit. It's a great story. You won't see this story, I'll bet, in the New York Times, because the New York Times is being sued by this same lawyer who is suing me. Everybody is frightened. And I thought, well, what can I do here? Obviously, I'm not going to apologize. My God. I'm not going to retract. There's virtually nothing to retract here. The truth is that anything that I have said here is mild. In fact, it's certainly not defamatory to say that someone knew someone. As a matter of fact, we we have seen the pictures of them together, so this is obvious. And then there's opinion, which is protected. This is, I mean, I've been doing this job for a very long time, and I have never been at a moment when there's a virtual guarantee of a lawsuit when you move into territory that the people in power don't want you to move into. This is not even a matter of what you said. It's the subject itself that cannot be discussed. So it was like, okay, you know, I mean, this is, there is a law. There are laws against this. There are laws against what the First Lady and the President are doing. You cannot use a legal remedy to intimidate someone from speaking out. So here we are. I've sued the First Lady.
So in a lot of these lawsuits that have been filed by Donald Trump, for example, against the corporations, whether it's the Wall Street Journal or the New York Times or whoever, in those lawsuits, even where the Journal or the New York Times appears to be fighting back, what they don't do, though, and I'm very cognizant of this, is go after the discovery that would be so obvious. Like, if I'm the Wall Street Journal and I'm sued by Trump with the Epstein book, the first thing I do, boom, day one, Donald deposition right there, sit across from me. And we know historically he does either horrible in depositions after avoiding it, or he avoids the case and then dismisses the case. Same thing with Melania. So you mentioned here, I am going to go after discovery, Melania. I'm going to take your deposition. I'm going to subpoena you, Melania. I want to see your emails, Melania. I want your documents, Melania. I want your text messages, Melania. I'm going to talk about all of the Epstein connections. You wanted to do this? We're going to do this, and we're going to do discovery. I want Donald Trump's deposition right now as well. So talk to us about the discovery.
See, Donald Trump, Melania Trump, feel that everybody is afraid of them. Melania, nobody's afraid of you. Go get something, girl. Go get a BB. What is it? BBL. You got nothing back there. You're flatter than my desk sitting here. Nobody is afraid of Donald Trump. Now they're going to be forced to show discovery. They're going to have to sit and go back and forth with each other, attorney to attorney. So what they thought they was going to do was going to hurt Wolf. Melania, all your skeletons is about to fall out of that closet, girl. Oh, nasty man, Dunny. All of your skeletons going to fall out that closet, girl. And I'm loving it.
You're looking to get in this case?
Well, you know, I think that this is an opportunity to ask all of the questions that they have refused to answer. I mean, it's very straightforward.
Very strategic.
I mean, we know that that Donald Trump had a long, deep, abiding relationship with Jeffrey Epstein. Let's hear the details. Let's hear the details of their financial involvement. Let's hear the details of their sexual involvement. Not that they were involved together, but one or the other as each other's wingman in many situations. And I say that using the politest words. Let's get into it. Let's get into Melania's history. How does she come to this country? What does she do when she's here? How does she meet Donald Trump? What's her relationship?
I'm going to pause it a moment. How did she get the Einstein visa? Because she hasn't done anything significant with intelligence. She hasn't won the Olympics. She's not intelligent. She hasn't done anything to help this country. Right now, she's too busy over there with talking to Putin, trying to help Russia. What about the children of our future in America, Melania Trump? You laid on your back to get to where you are. Now you are the first lady. Do your job. Go sleep in the bed with your husband. Why you won't sleep in the bed with him? Is he really pooping in the bed, Melania?
Modeling agents who knew both Epstein and Trump. I mean, these are all of the questions which I think once they are answered we will have a much clearer picture of what Jeffrey Epstein did, who he did it to, and how the president of the United States was involved.
And right now, as the government is shut down, and one of the reasons that seems to be clear is that they don't want this discharge petition being signed by Adelita Grijalva, who would be the 218th signature. She's that Democratic Congresswoman-elect from Arizona's 7th Congressional District. And so, you know, behind the scenes and in front of the scenes, you know, you're reporting on Epstein, and you've been the best reporter, the person who's been you spoke with Epstein, you sat with the guy like no one else has done that. You've got hours and hours and hours of recordings of the guy, but you were warning about all of this. You were raising the red flag about these connections before anybody here. You know, we were amplifying a lot of the cover, what I think should have been out there at the time, but now you're seeing it in a way that's so damaging to the country. I mean, to people's healthcare, to people's lives. Like, that's what's so wild about this too. So how do you make it? What do you make of this?
We know it is the one subject that he does not want to address. It is the one subject that he has not been able to escape. You know, Donald Trump is I would say the thing that he ought to be best known for is his ability to change the subject. He has not been able to change the Epstein subject. I think partly because people understand that it is the key to understanding so much about Donald Trump in particular, but our time in general, and the nature of power, and who has it, and what powerful people do with it. This is you know, Jeffrey Epstein is the secret code ring in a sense. And,
I would say Jeffrey Epstein is Donald Trump's kryptonite. Jeffrey Epstein is Donald Trump's kryptonite. Hey, it is what it is. Those of you just coming in, welcome to my live. I'm Queen Lillie. We're discussing Donald Trump, everything Donald Trump. Hit that like button as you are coming in. If you'd like to donate to my channel, you can send me super chats and super stickers. Thank you for coming to my live. One moment, please. So we're going to take a listen about how the gerrymandering isn't working in Indiana.
Some pretty big news right now. Indiana Republican senators are defying Donald Trump. They don't have the votes to pass a gerrymandered map to allow Republicans to pick up additional congressional seats. And so they're not going to go through with Donald Trump's plan, despite the fact that this week, according to Politico, Trump held a phone call with members who were nervous about supporting this gerrymandering effort. And well, now, according to the spokesperson for the Senate Pro Tem, they don't have the votes. Now, Donald Trump's allies are still demanding that it comes up for a vote to try to pressure them into redistricting, conducting this mid-decade redistricting cycle in Indiana. This is pretty big news because Indiana Republicans are not united enough to get the votes to pass a gerrymandered map. It does come on the same day that North Carolina Republicans did pass a new map saying, essentially eliminating one Democratic seat, but Indiana is not going to do the same, at least for now. So spread the word. Full updates on my Substack, linked in bio. Subscribe for free. Follow along for all the news you need to know about. We have some pretty big news right now.
I honestly believe that Indiana just don't want to do the gerrymandering. They want to make it a fair election. They don't want to exclude Black people from being able to vote. And the biggest gerrymandering that has been done is by the wheelchair thug in Texas. They're trying to take Jasmine Crockett out of her seat that she earned. It wasn't given to her. She ain't like Pete Hegseth, a DEI hire. Jasmine Crockett earned everything that she has worked for, and it should never be taken from her. We, as Black Americans, we stand with Jasmine Crockett. It's so many white Americans that are standing with our girl, Jasmine Crockett. There's no other way to put it. They're trying to take away the Black people from their seats. They're trying to block the Black votes. So they feel gerrymandering is the best way to do it. Well, Donnie, I disagree with you wholeheartedly and fully. That is not the route to go. It will not be safe for you, Donnie. Everything you plan and try to go against Black people, it is not going to work in your favor. Let's take a listen to our girl, Jasmine Crockett, please, from Texas.
I'm sick and tired of an administration that believes that they can break every single law that was ever invented while going into Black and brown cities and being the real criminals. Just today, one of those January 6ers that he let out on the first day decided that he was going to put a murder. He plotted a murder on the leader of the minority party, Hakeem Jeffries. He was arrested today. They are the ones bringing drugs into our neighborhoods. They are the ones telling white supremacists and racists that it is okay to do the things that they're doing. They are the ones that decided to let George Santos, who got kicked out of Congress in a bipartisan way, because he decided that he was going to perpetrate a fraud. He decided that he was going to enter a plea of guilty, and he only got 7 years, while Monica is facing 17.
Amen. Jasmine Crockett is powerful. That's why the wheelchair bandit, wheelchair thug wants to get rid of her, the governor of Texas. All right. One moment. So these are the 10 worst things Trump has done in his second term. Give me a moment because there's a lot to read. I need to have a drink of water in a crystal wine glass. I'm bougie like that even in a tough economy, huh? A tough economy ain't gonna stop me from drinking out of my crystal glasses. So the 10 worst things Trump has done in his second term. Number 1, instituting a new and sweeping travel ban on citizens from 12 countries. Harken back to the infamous Muslim ban that Trump launched during his first term. Number 2, weaponizing trade policy by imposing punitively high tariffs on imports from more than 50 countries and then making matters worse by pausing them, restarting them, and pausing them again. Number 3, creating the Department of Government Efficiency and then giving billionaire Elon Musk virtual free reign to insult and lay off thousands of U.S. government workers. Number 4, damaging relationships between Ukraine and the United States by publicly humiliating Ukraine President Zelensky in a cringe-worthy Oval Office meeting in February 2025. Number 5, trying to do away with birthright citizenship to prevent U.S.-born children of undocumented immigrants from becoming U.S. citizens as spelled out in the Constitution. Number 6, turning international students into collateral damage in this war against Harvard because the private university refused to bend the knee and surrender to a hostile takeover by the Trump administration. Number 7, unleashing without due process a flurry of legal dubious deportations, not just of undocumented immigrants, but also of legal residents, green card holders, even U.S. citizens. Number 8, accepting from Qatar, a nation that bankrolls Hamas terrorists, the gift of the Boeing 747 for Trump to use as Air Force One, which would cost us billions of dollars to fix, despite national security concerns raised by Senate Republicans. And number 9, hosting a private gathering in May of the highest paying customers of his personal cryptocurrency business, despite bipartisan concerns that he's selling access to the White House for personal profit. Number 10, challenging the concept of judicial review by suggesting that presidents don't answer to the federal courts, even threatening with impeachment judges that strike down with his policies as unlawful. Again, that's not all. Trump will go down in history as a moral defunct con man, carnival banker, barker, and convicted felon who left America worse off than he found it, largely because he never asked what he could do for the presidency. Only what the presidency could do for him. 10 worst things Donald Trump has done in his second term. Amen. So we're going to skip to the loo of what he hasn't done and what he has done. Hold on. Wait a minute. Just a moment, everybody. How are you beautiful kings and queens doing? I hope you're having a marvelous, marvelous day. Hold on, okay? I have so much saved. So we're going to talk about the things, and let's spread facts, not fear, that Trump has not done and what Trump has done. Trump has not in 9 wars. He ain't even in 7 or 8 that he stated. He has not in 9 wars, although he wants to start a war in this country to feel powerful because he is a low IQ man. Trump has not in 9 wars, has not saved tens of millions of lives, has not closed a $20 trillion in trade deals or collected $2 billion a day in terrors. Trump has not cut prescription drug prices by 800%. That's another lie he tells, and it makes me sick to hear it. Trump has not made cost of living less. Trump has put the USA on the Global Human Rights Watch list in 2025. Trump has fired or forced out over 200,000 federal workers. Yes, he did. And he's still doing it. Trump has back cuts of about $300 billion to SNAP and about $1 trillion to Medicaid. Trump has moved to withdraw from the World Health Organization and frozen foreign aid. Trump has decimated our soft power in humanitarian aid by eviscerating USAID. That's who Trump is. That's how far we have fallen because of who? Donald Trump. One moment, please. The facts beats slogans. Trump can put all the slogans and the lies out there. The facts beat his lies. Just a moment, please. So we're going to skip to the loop for more Epstein stuff. And this is about Virginia Giuffre's book, Nobody's Girl. Now, I got several things about that. So I'm going to try to decide what I'm going to discuss first. Hold on, beautiful kings and queens. Okay, we're going to get to the part about the Israeli prime minister who abused her till she was bleeding from every part of her body. One moment, please. We got a lot to cover. I ain't going to do you wrong. I'm going to give it to you real good, baby, because I love you.
Epstein accuser Virginia Giuffre's voice
One
is
moment.
living on.
I'm going to speed it up because we can't watch the whole
There
video.
is a new memoir that is getting all the buzz, and that memoir implicates as the prime minister, saying she feared he would seek to hurt her if she named him. In past court filings, she had accused former Israeli Prime Minister Barak of sexually assaulting her,
Hit
an
the like
allegation
button.
he has repeatedly denied. Well, yeah, he's not going to come forward and say, yeah, that was me. You know what I mean? According to the memoir, she met the prime minister on Epstein's private island in the U.S. Virgin Islands in 2002 when she was 18. She was instructed to accompany him to a cabana where the situation quickly turned violent. This gets a little graphic here, so we're going to try to do the best that we can. She goes on to say that he choked her until she lost consciousness, and he took pleasure in seeing her fear for her life. Horrifically, the prime minister laughed when he hurt me, and he got more aroused when I begged him to stop. She ended up leaving the cabana, and it goes on to say, I mean, you can see this here for yourself, but it goes on to say that she was bleeding from various parts of her body after that assault.
Listen carefully.
She said he sexually assaulted her more savagely than anyone had before. She pleaded with Epstein not to send her back. I got down on my knees and pleaded with him. I don't know if Epstein feared the man or if he owed him a favor, but he wouldn't make any promises, saying coldly of the politician's brutality. You'll get that sometimes. So let's pause here for a second. These are sick people. These are really sick people. But what this tells you, ladies and gents, is that the reason why you are not seeing that release of those Epstein files is not just because it includes powerful people or billionaires, people that have vast amounts of wealth, and could also implicate some politicians too in the United States, I believe. That's not the only reason. The other reason is because it would implicate Israel, which is something that Whitney Webb has been pointing out over years. If you get a chance, read Whitney Webb's books, One Nation Under Blackmail, where she went through all of this, all of these people that were part of this Epstein network of sorts. People who she believes have been blackmailed by Epstein, who we all know was an agent for the Mossad. These are sick people. I do also want to remind you that CBS itself reported years ago that Israel has become a haven for child sex offenders, that they are moving to Israel because they are protected there. This is the country that the U.S. has an allyship with. This is the country that the U.S. says that is America first. This is who they say they got to protect at all costs. So regardless of what political affiliation you have, everybody should have a problem with this. If you care about the children, which a lot of people said that they did, you shouldn't let this go.
And we're not going to let it go. We're not going to let it go. Be sure to subscribe to Savvy Solves. She's on YouTube. We're not letting it go. So that's why I come on here and I continue to talk about Jeffrey Epstein, whether anybody like it or not. We're not letting it go. Not at all. Not on my watch. All right. Hold on. I got more of that, of the Jeffrey Epstein situation. Just a moment, please. Let's take a listen. One moment.
Hey everyone, I'm Ashley Banfield, and this is Drop Dead Serious. You know the name Virginia Giuffre, and there is a reason for that, because she made damn sure the world wouldn't forget it. She was just a teenager when powerful grown men started treating her like property, passing her around like she was some kind of sex toy. She should have been worrying about her grades or crushes or college applications or prom, not billionaires and private jets and how to satisfy them sexually so she wouldn't get in trouble. But that's exactly how she ended up, inside Jeffrey Epstein's orbit and under Ghislaine Maxwell's control. Virginia didn't go public for fame. She didn't want money. She didn't want headlines. She wanted something far more simple, to not be invisible, to make sure that what happened to her and who did it to her couldn't be buried with hush money or sealed court files. Because the truth is, she was just one girl among many abused by Epstein and his friends. And the people who used her, they were some of the most powerful and rich men in the world. And yet, she is refusing to stay silent even in death. And because of that, their secrets are finally starting to unravel. She spoke out in life as much as she could, and now, as I'm sure you're aware, after her death by suicide this year, she's speaking out from the grave in the form of a wrenching memoir that came out just today. I'm recording this on October 21st, 2025. The book is called Nobody's Girl, a memoir of surviving abuse and fighting for justice. And while it is tempting to call her posthumous recollections a tell-all, my friends, I'm afraid they're not. I mean, you will find the names in bold print of some of the famous men who Virginia says sexually abused her, other than Epstein, but only those that she'd outed before in legal documents. The rest can be surmised, some more readily than others. And I'll tell you, the internet has been surmising its brains out all day today. But I decided to go one step further. I spoke with Virginia's co-author, a woman named Amy Wallace.
We're only going to listen to a little bit of this and we're going to move on.
The rich and powerful cannot threaten a dead woman, but they can make life extremely unpleasant for co-authors and publishers. And so we get passages like this, quote, I came to be trafficked to a multitude of powerful men. Among them were a gubernatorial candidate who was soon to win an election in a Western state and a former U.S. senator. And she goes on to say this, quote, the second person I was lent out to was a psychology professor whose research Epstein was helping to fund, end quote. Giuffre writes of a quote unquote heralded statesman to whom she was lent out in New York and Palm Beach, who also, she says, was the oldest man Epstein ever made her service. She also described being handed around to, quote, billionaire number one and his pregnant wife, as well as billionaire number two, who was a 52-year-old man with thinning brown hair. And if you wonder what Jeffrey Epstein got out of lending Virginia Giuffre out to his pals and others, like swimsuits at a pool party, she has one word for that: leverage. She writes that Epstein had every room wired for video and sound, bedrooms, bathrooms, massage rooms, everywhere. And she says he kept a huge library of all the videotapes. She says he told her those recordings gave him leverage, gave him control over very powerful men, which presumably might extend long after Epstein's death in a New York jail cell back in 2019. And then there's the matter of what she said about Donald Trump. And I'm going to get to that in a second. But first, I want to thank you so much for supporting this podcast. Atlas and I could not do this without you.
We can't watch the whole video because we have to move on.
I got to tell you.
Subscribe to Ashley Banfield on YouTube. Hold on.
A harrowing read, and it'll make you feel uncomfortable, but these are the excerpts that stood out for me from the memoir written by the late Virginia Giuffre, which has just been released. In it, she describes being trafficked by Jeffrey Epstein to, quote, a man who raped me more savagely than anyone had before. Now, it's worth noting that in the US edition of the book, she described the man in legal filings only as, quote, a prime minister, and that he had repeatedly choked her until she lost consciousness and, quote, took pleasure in seeing me fear for my life. Giuffre doesn't name the Prime Minister or many of the other men that she writes about in this book. Her co-author, Amy Wallace, says it should be up to the survivors of abuse to out their abusers. It should be the authorities, which is why she's calling for the so-called Epstein files to be released. Giuffre does name Epstein and Prince Andrew, of course, who she says she had encounters with in multiple locations. And she also reveals some of the alleged tactics that Prince Andrew used when it became apparent that her story was going to get out. For example, after casting doubt on my credibility for so long, Prince Andrew's team had even gone so far as to try to hire internet trolls to hassle me. Prince Andrew hasn't responded to this book, and he's repeatedly denied any wrongdoing. There is a mention of Donald Trump in this book, Giuffre saying she met him at his Mar-a-Lago resort, where she was working as a locker room attendant. She was introduced to Trump by her father and says, Trump couldn't have been friendlier, telling me it was fantastic that I was there. No allegations of abuse have been made against Donald Trump. It's a harrowing read, and it'll make you feel uncomfortable, but these are the excerpts that stood out for me from the memoir written by the late Virginia Giuffre, which has just been released. In it, she describes being trafficked by Jeffrey Epstein to, quote, a man who raped me more savagely than anyone had before. Now, it's worth noting that in the US edition of the book, she described a man in legal.
Now, with her, she didn't have any negative run-ins with Donald Trump, but that doesn't mean that the other ones didn't. So don't be fooled. Don't be fooled, honey, because I showed y'all some of the women speaking and they mentioned Donald Trump. Just so happened Virginia didn't have that kind of run-in with him. She worked for him at Mar-a-Lago. He knew about Epstein coming to get girls from there. He said that on Air Force One that Epstein would come and steal girls from Mar-a-Lago. Steal his girls. Those were his words. His girls. That's pimp talk, in my opinion. One moment, please. Let me take a sip of water and we will continue. So we're going to take a listen about Donald Trump trying to sue the American taxpayers to get $230 million. Donald Trump, kick rocks. You and your cankles kick rocks real hard and bust your head to the white meat when you fall.
Is the loss that he suffered that you and I got to pay $230 million. And wait, I'm not done. At a press conference last week in front of the nation, with Kash Patel and Stephen Miller and Pam Bundy and Todd Blanche, he said out loud that that settlement of his cases, which have not yet been filed, they still have to be filed. You have 180 days. They should have been filed. They need to be lawsuits. But that the settlement would actually be approved by him and by his deputy attorney general. I guess you know who the deputy attorney general is? Right. It's Todd Blanche, Donald Trump's former and present criminal defense lawyer, who's number 2 in the Department of Justice. If you like this update, check out the subscribe.
Donald Trump, you owe the American people. You have tortured us, traumatized us. Ever since you stepped your foot back in that Oval Office, back in what, January the 21st or the 20th or whatever it was, you have made American people's lives pure hell. You go to hell, Donald Trump.
People want to be left alone. They don't want revenge. They don't want to replace us, as some extremist groups have said. They just want to live life in peace, the way they want to live. They want family, they want love, and they want to live in a society where they know they belong here. They want society to also know that they belong here. They want to walk out their door and not worry that they're going to be treated unfairly, or they're going to get that look like they're not welcome, or that someone's going to try to touch their hair like a zoo animal. Yes, they want they want white people to fix white problems of prejudice and ignorance and all the ways that a wrongful sense of superiority is baked into our society. Yes, they want that to change. Yes, they want acknowledgement for harms done. They don't want us to just explain things away or justify or gloss over things without really listening. But more than anything, they want to be themselves, fully express who they are, love who they are, be with their family, and live in peace. Black people want to be left alone. They don't want revenge.
It's that simple.
They don't.
White people are so threatened by black people. We don't want to do any revenge on you. We just want to be left alone. We can love you from a distance and love you through the love of God. Just leave us alone. And tell Donald Trump to leave us the F alone. Tell ICE to leave us alone.
Reminder that Trump is still sending money to Israel during the government shutdown, but isn't paying active duty service members, air traffic controllers, or other essential federal employees. And before MAGA comes into my comments with, but the Democrats, but Biden, Trump is your president now, as you love to say, and he's the one choosing to send money to other countries during a government shutdown instead of paying active duty service members. You can argue with your mama. Nobody's forcing them to do that. Friendly reminder that Trump is still sending money to Israel during the government shutdown, but isn't paying active duty
Donald Trump has sent billions of our taxpayer dollars to Israel. Israel is living it up. Free insurance, have a kid. Every month you get money for having that kid. When that kid get out, they get money to start a business or whatever they want to do. We don't have that luxury here in America. But Donald Trump is afforded to another country instead of us. Even Argentina, living it up off our taxpayer dollars. $40 billion. Get out of here, Donnie. And this message right here is for MAGA.
Of 1 pound of ground beef is now higher than the federal minimum hourly wage. Are we great yet? The price of 1 pound of ground beef is now higher than the federal minimum hourly wage. Are we great yet?
MAGA, he told y'all y'all gonna make America great. That the great white hope, Donald Trump, your savior, was gonna make America great again. Well, it ain't never been great for my people, and it definitely ain't great for brown people. Food prices high as a motherfucker. Gas expensive. Mortgages pretty much becoming unbearable to pay. Rent is hard to pay. Food is hard to get. It's expensive. Going up. I'm going to tell y'all something. When I would go in the grocery store, I love these butter croissants. And I usually can get a box of them, 4 for $3.99. Guess how much they are now? $5. So what did I do? I said, well, it makes more sense for me to get the 12 count. And I paid $9.99 for the 12 count. Salmon, a pack of salmon. They put 2 in there. Wild caught salmon. I think it's $15.99 for 2 pieces of salmon. Are you kidding me, America? Are we great yet, MAGA? Are we great yet? You run around here wearing that red, the mark of the beast hat, ball cap, make America great again. That's the mark of the beast. And Donald Trump is the Antichrist, in my opinion.
21 of the Trump Epstein files shut down. And we are learning more and more about how people in the community are affected. Federal workers not being paid. So that means that people who inspect luggage at the airport to make sure there aren't bombs in the plane, not getting paid. The people who make sure planes are not crashing into each other, not getting paid. It's an awful scenario that the president and Republicans have put us into. I'm going to hold a press conference in the community to talk about the effects that we're seeing here and what we can do to get out of the shutdown and make sure that we also lower the cost of healthcare, go into open enrollment on November 1.
Hartsfield, Atlanta Airport. Go check it out. It's everywhere about it. Nobody is working. They don't. Let me tell you about Atlanta, because Atlanta is not going. You black people ain't gonna let you do them like that. You ain't gonna work them to death. I know it's furlough and all that. It don't matter. You go to a Hartsfield, Atlanta Airport right now. It is so behind. They backed up outside the door at the airport. Because the workers in Atlanta, they ain't about to go to work for free. They got side hustles they've been having going on for a while now. Some of them do hair. Some of them do real estate. I know somebody work at the airport. She does real estate. She ain't going in there. Ain't making no money. No money for my honey. Oh, no. It ain't happening. Donald Trump has fucked up the preacher's money. Ain't nobody passing that basket around right now. Unless it's going to be like one of the whinings. If they told that lady $1,200 wasn't good enough, I would have canceled my check. I would have left, grabbed my babies on her son, and got up out of there. Because Pastor Wine, you wrong for that. Also, I was told they voted for Donald Trump, the whiners. I don't know for sure. Allegedly, it's been said that they are Trump supporters. Kick rocks with Donald Trump.
Anyone who gets in the way, it doesn't matter where they are. Even if they are politicians in the West, they are going to fall because we cannot afford.
Hold on. Did you hear what he just said? He threatened politicians in the West that if they
That's
don't
Democrats.
agree with Israel's war against Iran, that they're going to fall. And remember, he's an Israeli agent. Are you saying Israel will murder politicians in the West or get rid of them politically through bribery or whatever else? What do you mean the politicians in the West will fall if they don't agree to back Israel's war against Iran?
Yeah, we will not vote for them anymore.
Oh, no, well, you don't vote for them now. You're not in our country. What do you mean the politicians will fall?
We live in democracy, and we have the right to bring them up and to bring them down. Those who agree with Ayatollah, we don't want them in office. And all the sympathizers with terrorists like yourself, we don't want them even to be in our country.
Who is we, and how are you bringing down politicians in the West if they dare to defy Israel? Tell me how you're bringing them down.
I'm going to tell you how. Don't act like Donnie don't know what's going on. Donald Trump knows exactly what is going on. The judge in South Carolina, boom, her house. Her husband had to jump from the second floor in the house. Broke his legs and other bones in his body. Thank God she was out walking her dog. Charlie Kirk, pow pow in the neck and the ketchup runs out. That's how Israel do it. And Donald Trump is down with the Israelis, y'all. Giving our money to Israel while we're sitting and suffering. America is falling. London Bridge has already fallen. And we are London Bridge. London Bridge is falling down, falling down. Donald Trump has effed up the preacher's money.
Last week, President Trump invited Republicans to dine at the patio at the White House. On the menu was New York strip steak, roasted chicken, and a fudge-filled 7-layer chocolate cake. Here's Speaker of the House Mike Johnson dining with the president on your dime. While Republicans eat cake, Americans, especially young Americans, are struggling to find jobs, and costs keep soaring at the grocery store. While Republicans eat cake, Americans are losing vital tax credits that help them buy health insurance plans this November, and millions of people will become uninsured while billionaires get huge permanent tax breaks. While Republicans eat cake, anxious Americans are carrying passports in their own country, since ICE is free to arrest people based off of their skin color, the job they do, or the language they speak. There is a golden age for Trump and the Republicans at the White House, but for the rest of us, we're struggling to keep our health care, put food on the table, and avoid being arrested by masked agents. Last week, President Trump invited...
They're sitting there eating off of fine china and drinking from water for crystal, while the butter is laying there to be sliced by a butter knife made of real sterling silver, while it lays also on a Tiffany crystal plate. America is suffering, and Donald Trump are whining and dining on our dime. On the pavement where they destroyed the Rose Garden. Yeah, that's what's happening. Well, we can barely pay for food. That is what's happening. While there's people have to figure out how they're going to put gas in their car to go to work, Donald Trump is up there eating the finest steaks that could ever be. Filet mignon, sockeye salmon, etc. Jasmine rice. And there's Americans, military vets, our military, in food bank lines. Wake up, America. They don't care about us. Like Michael Jackson said, they don't really care about us. That shit is real. So I'm going to look at and read some of y'all questions and see what you put in the chat, and we're going to be getting up out of here. One moment, please. Alan says, guess Trump caused the worst unemployment since the Great Depression. Oh, yes, he has. Oh, he ain't done with laying off federal workers neither. They plan on doing it and replacing them with his loyal people, the DEI, the true DEI. Democrats need to open up the government. Kim, if you don't take your regular ASS up out of here with that, that has nothing to do with the Democrats. The Democrats are not running the Senate, the House, nor the White House. It is all Republicans. Get educated, you fool. All right, all right, all right. Hello, Don. How you doing, King Don? Yes, WE says things are going from bad to worse. And Sucker D, use your dick suckers and suck your husband off and his friends. Get out my chat. Queen Miss Bug says regular stinking ASS is right. Hold on. Hello, King Cam. He says, oh, wait, can't remember the time. I don't know what that's about, but okay. Jose Riviera, well, Jesus, if you want to say that, he put America Spurs, and you're doing great. Awesome, you're doing great, honey. Glenn Paul, the one that almost like Ron Paul. Let me tell you something. You can't compete with any man in this world. You walking around here with the size of this in your pants. No, this smaller than my thumb. Go sit down. I don't want to hurt your feelings because right now your wife is getting beat down by a black man in your garage. He tearing that up. He getting all up in her yams. When you go back in there, you ain't gonna be able to swim. It's gonna be too big for you. And King George says, I agree with you. He's the devil. Donald Trump is the devil. He is the Antichrist. He is the devil's spawn. Have you ever seen his father? You would understand. Let me see if I got a picture of Donald Trump's father and mother saved. Hold on. He is the Antichrist. He got MAGA running around here with the mark of the beast, those red hats. They're such fools, dumb people. I had a photo of his mother and father. Some of the ugliest people I've seen in my life. But I can't find it right now, and I'm not going to worry about it. But let me move on. I'm going to read some more comments, okay? Max Shakur put nuke. I wish you would try to nuke me. You would not have any more balls, trust me. I will cut the stick off too. Your little ping, it'll be gone. Try me. I will pow it off. That's better. Cam the GOAT says these ain't insults. Everything we saying is facts. I know Macca can't handle the truth, honey. They can't handle the truth. Dewey, if you're a white man, you ain't even in the Bible, baby. Black people in the Bible. You don't have coarse wool hair, and you don't have copper bronze skin. That's black. White people are not in the Bible. Y'all didn't come around till later. You're only 6,000 years old, white people. Clinton says she's dumb. Do you talk about your mama? All right, I agree with you. Yeah. Your mom and daddy both. Vincent Odom, a lot of my black people was here before you got here. And Mexicans was here before you got here. So you leave our country. Get the fuck out. Get the fuck up out my house. How you like that? Whose house? My house. That is true. Linda Jones, he and his billionaire buddies have big business in Argentina. Yes. And it's pretty messed up that he sent our tax dollars to Argentina while we are really in need. Chrissy L. Lovejoy, there's no Lovejoy with you. With a face like yours, you got a face of shit. W.E. Wee says, I think Elizabeth Warren, I love Elizabeth Warren, cares about us. AOC and several others. Luckily, there are few politicians that do not care about this country. That is true. Thank you for putting that in my chat. You could tell some of these people are bots in here because they're repetitive with their same old bullcrap they're saying. Cujo81 says, I appreciate the fun and conversation. Guys, have a good night, everybody. Good night. I saw Queen Marcella Speaks in here. Be sure to subscribe to her channel, but I couldn't talk at the time because I'm learning to speak less and let the videos play so we can all learn something from them. Okay? So I'm going to take y'all out of here with something positive, you know, because we don't had a day of listening to Donald Trump and all the bad things about him and Epstein. So let me find something that's going to put us in a much better mood.
Culture is American culture.
Let's start it over.
Black culture is American culture. As an Indian man that was born and raised in America, I'm telling you right now, every aspect of American culture, sports, fashion, art, music, all of it, it's all Black culture. Black culture is American culture. This superior race bullshit that's being spewed right now, that's what it is. It's just bullshit. Because if you take away your money, you take away your business, you take away your influence, it all collapses. The American economy will collapse without you. Some of the single most greatest inventions that were created in America were by Black people. I'm just tired of this like narrative that like, oh, people are too ghetto. Oh, people are this and people are that. You'd be nothing without them. You'd be nothing without them. And this isn't just for like my Black friends. This is like for all minorities. They would be nothing without you. And another thing, stop supporting these corporations that literally disrespect you on a daily basis.
That is something positive to take with you, okay? Let's see what else I got positive. One more thing, y'all, okay? One moment. Just a little while longer. Hold on. Just a moment. One moment, please. I don't want to leave y'all on such a sour note. Let me see what Mama got for you, honey, because I like to feed my babies. Just a moment, please. How y'all doing out there? It was something I would normally show y'all, and I haven't showed you all in quite a while, but I'm trying to find it because it was so positive that I want to share it again.
You were the strong one way too early. You didn't grow up. You braced because life didn't give you time to bloom. It asked you to survive. You were the strong one way too early. You were the responsible one, the emotional sponge, the kid that knew how to read the room better than play in it. You learned to carry what wasn't yours, to soothe people who scared you, to parent while still being a child. And now you're wondering why rest feels unsafe, why softness makes you flinch, why you don't know how to need without shame. But none of that is your fault. You adapted, you armored up, you made it. But listen, the strong version of you, it isn't the last of the story. There is still a soft version, a real version, and they're not gone, just waiting for permission. So let them come home. And I hope that helps just a little bit.
One day when the morning comes, it will be over. One day. I want to thank each and every last one of y'all. I hope that last message soothed somebody's soul, make you feel better than what you felt listening to all the sad stuff that Jeffrey Epstein and Donald Trump is doing to our country. Jeffrey Epstein touching him and Trump was a monster. Jeffrey was a monster and Donald Trump is a monster. Thank each and every last one of you beautiful kings and queens for coming to my live. I love you. God love you. Hit that like button before you head out of here. And remember to stay positive in this storm. Because if one of MAGA don't take Donald Trump out of here, God gonna take him soon. The man is old and crusty and senile. He gotta go. I don't know if it's dementia or schizophrenia. I don't know. He gotta go. I love y'all. Enjoy your evening. Eat well and drink plenty of water. And if you can, drink it from a crystal glass. Bye.